Hey everybody, this is Antonio's brother. My name is Daniel, and you probably recognize me from a few of Antonio's videos, especially the massage one. That's my personal favorite because, who doesn't want a free massage, right? Unfortunately, I've been the unfortunate victim of Antonio's little experiment that he did with my video game collection. In fact, I brought some of my games with me, quite a few actually, and you see how disorganized it is? Like, you probably can't even tell which system it's for unless you're a real gamer like me, but just imagine how disorganized this is and, like, multiply it by 100 or so. Just imagine, like, this switchover game is, like, Street Fighter is mixed with Super Mario 3D World. And it's not even in alphabetical order. He just took it and threw it. Oh, this is Harry Potter. Oh, what a loser. Ah, jeez. But I figured now would be a perfect opportunity to give further elucidation of what I feel, of my nostalgia and my personal feelings about some of these games in, like, rapid fire fashion. I hope I'm not speaking too loudly for you guys. I know this is an ASMR. This is kind of like my first time doing a real ASMR shot like this, so I'm sorry if I'm a little too loud. I am a little excited to do this, though. This is my first time. I guess I'm just gonna go, like, do a sort of blindfold, like, grab or something. Hopefully I don't knock anything. Ah, yeah, perfect. Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection. Now, this one is the Xbox 360 version of this game. When I was a young one, I actually had a PS3 at the time, not a 360. I got a 360 after the fact, but I remember saving up money for this game, like $30, and I didn't have a job back then, so I would just save whatever spare change I had from my lunch money, and I would get this and play a lot of it. Really love Phantasy Star. Phantasy Star is better than Final Fantasy, in my humble opinion. It's my favorite old school RPG, so that's Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection. Okay, I guess it's not really a blind grab anymore because I'm looking at it right now. Halo Master Chief. Oh man, I kind of like the single player. Don't really care too much about the multiplayer because I'm not a first-person shooter fan, unless of course it's on a PC where I can play with a keyboard and a mouse. But on a controller, not so much. I like single player. Still, the multiplayer in this game is, like, broken at launch, like 5-6 years ago, and now they fix it. It's really freaking good, and can't wait for Halo Reach to be redone as well. So I'm pretty excited about that too. While we're still on Xbox, I got a couple other games to show on the Xbox One. Kingdom Hearts 3, and while I'm at Kingdom Hearts 3, oh, I don't have both versions somewhere. No, here, it's here. See what I mean? This is what happens when you don't organize. Got a bone to pick with that guy. Kingdom Hearts 3. I like the game so much that I got it on PlayStation 4. So why did I get both? Why did I get both of them? Even though I like them both as much? Well, it's because, well, this one is technically the best version if you have an Xbox One X, like I do, with it's closer to 4K than the PS4 version. But if you turn down your PS4 to 1080p, this one has a better frame rate, like 60 frames per second, like this camera is shooting right now, than this. This one struggles to hit 60 frames more often than this, so why not? I got them both pretty cheap at like a sale or something. So that's cool. Arguably my favorite game on the Xbox One is not Gears of War. Don't really care for that, but I do like Rare games. If you ask Antonio what his favorite Rare games, he knows Banjo-Kazooie, he knows Donkey Kong Country. Well, this one has Banjo-Kazooie. It doesn't have Donkey Kong Country because it's a Nintendo property. Can't put Nintendo on Xbox after all. Unless, of course, they put Game Pass on Nintendo Switch. Then that would be awesome. But it's also got Perfect Dark, Grabbed by the Ghoulies. It's got Jet Force Gemini. And even a whole bunch of Commodore... Is it Commodore or is it ZX Spectrum? Yeah, ZX Spectrum games that were surprisingly really fun. This was, like, well before my time. But I had a lot of fun with Saber Wolf and Jetpack. That one's fun. Okay, I guess I'll pick a PS4 game. I don't really play PS4 as much as Xbox One, but I really like the new Spider-Man game over here. Holy shit. Like, at first I was a little bit concerned that it wouldn't have as many gameplay improvements from some of the earlier Spider-Man games. This one seems to go back to the basics of the PS2 and the original Xbox games. But once you start playing it, man, they got the game feel of this right. You really do feel like Spider-Man, and not just. You can tell that Insomniac Games really gave a rat's bum about what it's like to be Spider-Man, and right down to the controls, the physics, the fact that you get to help civilians and you get to fight crime while you're doing the single-player missions. And I can't wait to finish it one of these days. Now, right now I'm kind of busy with Borderlands 3 on the PC, and a few other games like Outer Worlds just came out in the Xbox Game Pass. But when I have time to do that, when I get past, I wish I could have brought this PS4 game, this Fist of the North Star game that's really cool. It's kind of like Yakuza. I even have some of the Yakuza games, but I didn't bring it with me. I'll get around to finishing this. And speaking of finishing games, this big A game called Persona 5. Enough said. Now that my brother has so kindly interrupted me, I'll tell you what systems I own. I think he already told you, but I own a PlayStation 2, so I get to play Ape Escape, and Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne. Really hardcore RPG. You get to enlist all these demons, and you basically get to either fight Satan, fight Lucifer, or fight God at the end of it. It's really cool. You know, if you're not offended by the religious stuff, of course. I have a Nintendo Switch. My favorite video game of all time is Mega Man X on Nintendo Switch. I already showed you Xbox 360, so I got Deus Ex. I've got a Wii U. One of my favorite games is Ultimate NES Remix. Did I already see Nintendo Switch? And I used to have a PS3, but I sold it for the Wii U at one point. And now that GameStop has like a buy two pre-owned games for 20% off deal, I might need to get another PS3 because I really like Bound by Flame. Well, I already have Bound by Flame for the Xbox 360, but if I want to play from my room instead of the living room, I got the PS3 version right here. Bound by Flame is bound by bad A. Can't say the word in YouTube. And this launch title, Resistance Fall Man, it's an okay first-person shooter. It does some neat things. It's made by Insomniac, which made the Spider-Man game. You get some interesting weapons that shoot through walls, or I don't remember everything about it, but it was an okay first-person shooter, And I think you get to play, if you play online multiplayer, you can play up to 64 players online, which is a huge deal back in the day. Like, most PC games don't have that many people in a match. Unless it's Battlefield, of course. And one more thing. When I was a young guy, I used to get this magazine called Official Xbox Magazine. And sometimes I would get these. See, back in the day, you don't download demos. You had to get them on a DVD. And on top of that, this Xbox disc in particular has like map packs. Again, you don't always download it because not everybody knew how to connect to the internet with the Xbox Live, and certainly most people didn't want to pay to play online. So they would give demo discs like this one that came with the Xbox magazine over here, like a Halo 2. Halo 2 was a big deal back then. Time Splitters Future Perfect. I think I brought the full game with me. Yeah, there we go. All right. There we go. Time Splitters Future Perfect. Really, really, really good first-person shooter, especially if you like playing by yourself. Really good campaign. Fun, easy to play. Pick 'em and play. And arguably the best Tony Hawk game, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2X. What's with the X? Not only is it on the Xbox, but after you beat all the Tony Hawk 2 levels, you get to play all the Tony Hawk 1 levels with manuals. How cool is that? You get to make more points in Tony Hawk 1 levels. And then after that, you get all new levels on top of that. And on top of that, the controls are not as bad as this stupid HD remake. Get this. It's kind of cheap. You can get it for like $10. Don't pay $50 on Amazon. Amazon is way too expensive. Just go to your local game store if you can. Just get it for like $10, $20 at most. All right. And that is my game collection, and Antonio's here.